part of Greece where I was born, it's not Mykonos, it's not the islands, it's a very mountainous area. It's very close to the Albanian, former Yugoslavian border. To this day, it is still scenically beautiful, but it's not the beaches, it's not the typical things we associate with going to visit Greece. My parents both grew up at the end of World War II, and then 1945 to 50, there was a civil war in Greece, and it was absolutely horrible because there was about 50,000 people killed. There was the communists against the government forces. There was cousin against cousin, and my village was in the middle of it. My dad was a carpenter, and they had a shop in the village that's still there, the carpentry shop that he had with his late brother. And what happened is they would go to Germany and work. This would be the mid-60s. I'd be about 2 or 3 years old. I'd be behind with my grandparents. And while in Germany, a horrible thing happened. My dad's best friend and brother was killed. He was hit by a truck walking to work and he was killed. Because of that, for the next couple years, my dad, he developed a lot of stomach issues, and after about 2-3 years of tests and this, a wise doctor said to him, "You have to leave the country. You got too many memories here." So he came in 1969 because he had a sister in Windsor and lived with them in 69. And then my mom and I came in 1970. When we first came to Canada, my mom picked tomatoes for 2 years. And then she, if I could say, hit it big because she got a union job at Windsor Packing. And if anybody's old enough to remember, Windsor Packing was on the west side, and it was a slaughterhouse. And that was a very, very tough job. And she worked there for 7-8 years before they closed. And she always said to me when I was little, if you ever become somebody, always treat people with respect. And I've never forgotten that. Whether you're the janitor or you're the CEO of the hospital, I try to treat everyone with respect. Work hard, and that'll help develop your God-given gifts in whatever you want to do. That's what had been instilled in me from my parents. As a child, we had a very kind family physician. He's passed away, Dr. Lee Brown. He tragically died in a house fire. Very wonderful man, treated everyone with respect, and I think he was one of the inspirations. To get into medical school is tough. Anybody that's gone into Ontario Medical School back then or now will tell you, just because there's so many good candidates. I was at University of Western Ontario, known as Western today. I did a Bachelor of Science, and I just loved my time in medical school. I found, especially when we were doing clinicals, when we were interacting with patients, there's nothing else I really wanted to do. My wife is from Windsor, my family's from Windsor, and I love Windsor. I think Windsor's a great community, very welcoming, and I can tell you as an immigrant, it's an area where it not only welcomes but celebrates cultural and ethnic diversity. My first experience of the Carousel Nations was 1976. That was the very first Carousel of Nations, and I remember it. I was 14 and I was in the Greek dance group. I think deep down inside I'm a shy person, and I think I was shy. You can imagine coming to a new country, but being in a dance group and you're performing in front of hundreds of people, and it was at the Carousel, you have to understand when you're performing in a skirt, it really gets you, it helps get you out and about. The adrenaline rush that you get, it's hard to describe unless you're there. These festivals are a success, not because of the local ethnic groups, it's because of everyone in the community that goes and participates, and that's what really makes it, is the whole community. Africa, I have to give full credit to my wife. My wife has been a Rotarian for over 30 years. The area in Africa where we go is in Ghana. It's in the central region near Fosu, so it's about a 4-hour drive from the capital, Accra. I usually will bring about 200 pounds worth of medicine, and it can be everything from antibiotics to burn creams to Tylenol, and it'll be wrist braces, knee braces, splints, any number of things. In the cold season, it's 95 to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very warm in the daytime. The waiting room is half covered, half open air. There could be roosters, chickens there. Usually the wait is about 4 hours after walking for 4 hours. Nurses work there, and they're fabulous nurses. They know malaria, but a lot of these people have never seen a doctor before. It's absolutely the wide spectrum. For example, there's 82-year-olds working in the farms and the worst looking knee arthritis I've ever seen. I'll give them a brace and they're just smiling from ear to ear. You just can't help but feel good. Accessibility to medical care, a clinic, is so important. I remember seeing a 1-year-old. They came in with the mom and the grandma. The child was coughing, wheezing. I examined the child. I said, "Your child, I think, has pneumonia." and I think you need to go to the hospital. And the hospital was a half-hour drive away. And the grandma and the mother looked at me like I was from another planet, even though we had an interpreter there and they understood to go to the hospital. And I said, what's the issue? They said, well, they don't have the $3 to go to the hospital. So I said to them, no problem, get you to the hospital, just wait. The team is gonna come pick me up in about an hour. And they came, picked me up, we took them to the hospital. And just there and then, it made me realize something as simple as getting to a clinic is paramount for people because they cannot afford the $2 for the trip when they're making $2 a day. We try to make an impact. We try to help. Every penny that's raised is going to the projects. We pay for ourselves. We're able to fundraise and do water wells and sanitation projects because then the amount of waterborne illnesses, children getting sick is way down in an area obviously where you have a fresh water well. It is life-changing. It is life-changing. We went in 2012, that was my first time, and I worked with a nurse named Fidelis who is top-notch, knows malaria really well, and that's how I learned so much about malaria. 30 years in Canada, I've seen one case of malaria. You go to Africa, you'll see 30 a day. I remember we went back March 2014, and before going back, I remember saying to my wife, you know, I'm looking forward to going, but sometimes I feel like I'm just doing a bandage. We're putting a Band-Aid on the situation. We went March 2014, and when I went, I was pleasantly surprised. Fidelis, the nurse, says to me, look at the award we got. The clinic where I work at, they got an award from the National Health Service in Ghana, and the award was the best regional clinic in Ghana. They said, Dr. Spirou, when you came in 2012, everybody here, the midwives, the nurses, everybody was so impressed that you came and you cared and you're coming back. Everybody elevated their game, and there's an award there for the clinic in Barakou as the #1 community health clinic in Ghana from the National Health Service. So then it hit me, just showing that you care, that you actually go back, you're making a difference. I still don't know to this day who nominated me because honestly, I consider myself a worker. A lot of what I do is one-on-one with patients. I'm not a political figure, but I'm still shocked because there are so many immigrants in this area that have done so well, not just for themselves, but for the community. And I'm just honored and humbled.